Are you a service-based business owner looking to increase profits to fund your lifestyle? Well, this podcast is for you. We bring you inspirational guests sharing actionable tips to solve many of the struggles you face each and every day. And now, over to your host, Paul Higgins.
Hi, Paul here. Before we get into the show, would you like to make a great first impression on LinkedIn? If so, I have something just for you. When people search for your name on Google, your LinkedIn profile will normally come up first. Before meeting someone for the first time, how often do they view your LinkedIn profile? For many coaches and consultants I begin to work with, their profiles don't do them any justice. I've created a simple solution where you can whip your profile into shape to have your best foot forward when attracting new clients on LinkedIn. Go to blgdownload.com, so that's blgdownload.com to get your 5 killer tips today. Hello to the Build, Live, Give Solo podcast, episode number 237. If it's your first time, welcome. And if you love what you hear, please subscribe. If you're a regular, thanks for your support. Let me know a topic you would like me to cover at paul@buildlivegive.com. So a big shout out to Sean, who inspired me to talk about today's topic. Sean is helping me out with my SEO, and boy, do I need some help. His company is called SSI Design. Please check out past shows on your favorite platform. Just search Build, Live, Give. So today's topic is how a doctor can help you sell. That's right, how a doctor can help you sell. So you will learn 3 key things. 1 is what I learned from doctors. 2, how I applied it to my sales. And 3, how you can apply it to yours. And also I'll show you how you can get some more help so you can get more clients. I spent the first 2 years of my life in and out of hospital with chronic asthma. Luckily, I grew out of it by age 16, but we lived in the country back in those days, and wheat dust, etc., would mean I was always in a hospital. So I had a little bit to do with doctors, a little bit more than I probably wanted to. At 18, I was diagnosed with a condition called polycystic kidney disease, PKD. You can hear more about my story on my LinkedIn profile in the featured section. And my LinkedIn profile will be in the show notes, but just search Paul Higgins Mentoring. I would go for annual checkups until my condition started to deteriorate around 2010. It was probably 2009, 2010. My mum had the same condition, and she lived more in hospital than at home, certainly from 2015 onwards. That was definitely the case. I was always intrigued by the different bedside manners of doctors. It seemed to get different as they moved up the steps. So, doctors to specialists to surgeons, and it seemed that the higher the specialty, the less bedside manner they have. And you may have had that exact experience. I actually had one surgeon that wouldn't talk to me direct, so he'd talk to the other doctors, ask them the question they had to ask me, and then I had to relay it back to them. Is standing right in front of my bed. So he didn't like it when I kept answering to him, and finally he got the message, but very, very strange. The one trait that they all had, though, was asking great questions. They were not selling to me, they were looking to save my life, so very different framework. I keep conversations in Evernote, and in 2018 it prolonged my life. The one time I got sold to by a doctor, it was the one and only time that I got sold to by a doctor. Before we go into how I can apply it to sales for you, I would like to talk to you about Dubb. So DUBB. It's an all-in-one sales and marketing video platform that helps to attract, convert, and retain more happy clients. Wouldn't we all like more of that? I used it this week to send messages to my Sales Machine members. So they're part of our LinkedIn community. And what I did was just send them simple catch-up videos. So much nicer than a voice message or a email. So why not check out Dubb yourself? Just go to buildlivegive.com/Dubb. So how did it prolong my life? I had a nephrectomy, so that's a fancy word for a removal of a kidney. And my kidney was about the size of a soccer ball at that stage. So it weighed on about 4 kilos. It was 3.5, 4 kilos. And I had to remove it because I was fairly thin then, and I just simply didn't have room to fit in another kidney, which was to fit in my transplant kidney. So my blood level post that, I had a scar. It looked like a shark bite. It was one side or the other. It was pretty horrendous. I woke up in ICU, taken back to the ward, and my blood level was very low. And they insisted, or a particular doctor insisted, that I have a transfusion. Now, I knew a transfusion would rule out my best mate as a donor. It'd taken me so long. My wife went through the process. It's very exhaustive, about 4 months of testing. Then my best mate, and he was a perfect match. And I showed him in my Evernote, all the notes that I'd taken, that if he proceeded with this, I would lose my chance of that person. And to wait for, on the list, it was about a 6-year wait of being on dialysis, and watching mum all that time, I really didn't want to do that. So he walked away in a bit of a huff, or I should say they walked away in a bit of a huff. He had asked the right questions. If he had just asked the right questions, I should say, it would have not been such an embarrassment to him, and he wouldn't have lost the sale, i.e. my respect for him. And I did report him, as not everyone keeps records like, man, I just didn't want this guy doing this similar thing to other patients. And I've got to say, there's a lot of patients on pretty heavy medication, and there's a lot of patients that are very unwell and also elderly. And, that's where accidents happen in hospitals. And I just wanted this guy to learn to ask better questions. So in my sales process, I ask questions before jumping to my solution. And so should you, which is pretty obvious, right? So the key questions I ask within a sales call. So I always start with the personal point of view. I ask permission for that, but I ask them if they've got a life partner. I ask them if they've got children, and I also ask them what their hobbies are, just to build that rapport. And I record all of that because I use some of that information back in. And then I go into the business. So I ask these key questions, and I'll keep it short because I don't like to have these interviews too long. But at the end of this, I will show you a way that you can get all of my questions in details in my process. So the first is ideal client. So who do they love to serve? How do they provide value to them? The next is, how do they get new clients? So what's working really well to get new clients, and what do they think they need to do to get more clients? The next is, who supports you, i.e. who supports them. So, this can be from their family, their mentors, their team. I sort of look holistically at their whole support system. The next is, how do they define success? So success can be, personal and also professional. So I go through that, and most of the time the business success is only funding the personal. So I really dig into what it means to them personally. And I link that back to the questions I asked previously about their partner, their children, etc. The next is what's going to get in the way. So what do they know already that's going to get in their way? And what do they think that some of the people that support them can see that they might be blind to it? So I'm really, trying to diagnose the problem the best way I can. Then what resources do they use? So how are they going about that? And then how do they make decisions? So do they make decisions quick? Do they confer with others? Like, how do they go about making decisions? And is it an immediate decision or is it a laddered decision? What's their time frame? Then I give them the opportunity to ask me questions, and then I go into the next steps. And this is normally in a discovery call, and then I go into an investment call, which I ask different questions and I do a gap analysis, etc. Very similar to really testing from a doctor's perspective to rule in or rule out whether they can actually help you. So if you'd like to see my full sales process in action, just email me at paul@buildlivegive.com. I've got a great little video that I can send you. So 3 key actions from today as I put my teeth back in. Number 1 is write down a set of questions you can ask. Okay, you can ask in sales calls. Get really good at it. I think the more you write them down, you don't ask them in a scripted way, but you can, build your muscle in this area. The second is diagnose, not prescribe. Okay, so get really good at that. Hold back the feature set that you just can't wait. You're so excited to tell people. And the last one is step 3 is email me for the full sales process. You can get all the links in the show notes at paulhigginsmentoring.com/podcast, episode 237, or on the app you're listening to now. I recommend the podcast app. No affiliation, but it's just a great app I use, particularly on my iPhone. If you want to see if you are running a profit machine or a sweatbox, fill out a 5-minute quiz at paulhigginsmentoring.com/quiz. And there's some great content in there, and it'll really help you better self-diagnose some of the gaps you may have. Please connect and follow me on LinkedIn. As I said before, Paul Higgins Mentoring. If you know someone interested in asking better sales questions to close more clients, please share this with them. If you have a topic you would like me to cover, just email me at paul@buildlivegive.com. So please take action to build a profitable and sustainable business and stay well.
Thanks for listening to the Build, Live, Give podcast. If you like what you heard, please share it and leave us a review. It would mean the world to us.